Recursion might sound difficult, especially if you're new to computer science. However, with enough practice and patience, it will become much easier for you. Recursion is where the structure of the problem repeats. A good example of recursion is a factorial, as in 4 factorial, or 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Instead of writing all of this out, which would get very tedious if you're working with values like 100 or 1000, you can create a recursive method. The easiest way to distinguish a recursive method from a regular method is that a recursive method calls itself. If you see the method name inside the method, it's recursive. To trace a recursive method, you'll have to use what's known as a call stack, which is simply a stack that keeps track of the methods that have been called and what line they were called from. You've probably seen a stack of cups where you take from the top of the stack and add cups to the top of the stack. The Java runtime uses the call stack to keep track of the execution of your program. The first call is a call to the main method, which gets added to the call stack. When the main method calls another method, let's call it B, the call stack keeps track of where the execution should return to once method B is finished executing. A recursive method usually has at least one condition that just returns a value rather than another recursive call. The condition that stops a recursion is called the base case. If the method always calls itself, then it's infinite recursion. Now that probably sounds confusing, so let's use 4 factorial as an example. Essentially, when using recursion to solve this problem, it's saying, well, 4 factorial is 4 times 3 factorial, and 3 factorial is 3 times 2 factorial, and 2 factorial is 2 times 1 factorial, and 1 factorial is 1 times 0 factorial. In this example, our base case would be considered 0, since the factorial method will return 1 when it passes 0, and not call itself. Well, now that we know what 0 factorial is, we can now find out what 1 factorial is, since 1 factorial is 1 times 0 factorial, which is 1. And now that we have 1 factorial, we can find out what 2 factorial is, since 2 factorial is 2 times 1 factorial, which equals 2. Continuing with this logic, we'll find out 3 factorial equals 3 times 2 factorial, which equals 3 times 2, which equals 6. And that 4 factorial is 4 times 3 factorial, which is 4 times 6, which is 24. Therefore, 24 would be our answer.